Hello, everybody. David Frangioni live from the Hard Rock in Hollywood, Florida. We're on stage. Brandon Pertzborn.
Good to be here.
Good to see you too, man. So you're playing with the Offspring.
Yep.
And how long have you had this configuration?
I've had this configuration for a very long time. This exact kit, I've only had for about a week. So,
Really?
Yeah.
What happened? How
So
do you have a new kit?
This is technically our B rig. So
Okay.
when we're going between shows, for example, in the United States, quickly a show in Europe, we got to have two different rigs.
Sure.
So I've been in the band for a little over a year. And that hasn't been necessitated until this week because we go to Europe in less than a week.
so
this
that
is,
kit, the A kit's already out there.
So that's the one I've had for over a year, and this is the one we just got. So this is the Masters Maple Pure,
Okay.
and it's great, huge, open, and thunderous. So
Okay.
what more can you want?
Well, and you got a 12.
Yep,
12 rack.
16, and then 18.
Okay. And these look like they're the same depth.
Yeah, I believe they are. Yeah, it looked like the same depth.
And you play in a 22 kick.
22 kick, absolutely.
And that looks like a deep kick. Is it a 16 or an
I
18?
want to say it's a 22 by 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did you come up with this config? And how long have you been playing it? What led you to what we'll call the Bonham config,
Yeah.
even though the sizes aren't Bonham,
They're-
but the layout is.
It's one and the same answer. This is the configuration I've had since I was probably 15 or 16 years old.
Okay.
And I remember when I started playing drums, I had the 2 rack toms and 1 floor tom. And then at a certain point, all the bands that I were into at the time had the 1 rack with the ride in place of the 2nd rack.
Okay.
And so I tried that, and I thought, man, the ride right in front of you is so much more comfortable than over here.
Yeah.
So since then, this has been the configuration, yeah.
And what are you playing for a snare?
It's a Pearl Reference. It's a brass.
Okay. 6.5 by 14.
Yeah, that's it. And
They look like die-cast rims. Those are pretty serious rims.
Yeah, and it's loud. This guy is loud and heavy. No, it's been a great snare. We love the snare.
Peisty cymbals.
Yes.
And so what have you got?
All 2002s.
Okay.
For the hat, we got a Sound Edge 14-inch,
Okay.
19-inch 2002.
Crash. Okay.
For the ride, got a 20-inch heavy ride. Historically, I've vacillated back and forth between just a regular 2002 ride. For the Offspring, I've been using the heavy ride. I just like the ping on it, especially for this band.
Okay.
The ping is great on this heavy ride. For a couple of songs, I'll crash on the ride, but I literally only think that's maybe 2 songs at most. So most of it's just pinging on it,
Okay.
which to me necessitates more of the heavy ride. So I love that.
And it cuts.
Cuts. The bell is great. For my main, I call this my main crash. It's the one I ride on mostly. So this crash is a medium 20-inch 2002. And then I call this guy like the auxiliary crash. And it's, again, a 2002, but it's a power crash.
Okay.
And so this one, like I said, is my main crash.
This is like a crash ride. In a way.
I guess so, yeah. I guess you could say that. And so I try to have, since this is my main one, I want these two at a higher pitch than this one. That way, these two are more accent crashes, I guess you could say.
Right.
And I love this guy over here. A lot of the times I use this guy. What I've found myself doing is if I'm playing a beat, for example, with the snare on 2 and 4, before I hit this guy on the downbeat, I'll hit this on 4. It's like 1, 2, 3, boom, boom. So it's like a lead up to this crash.
Right. And you've pitched those two higher, so it has that tone that you would use that for.
It contrasts this one.
Okay.
And you'll notice, interestingly enough, I don't have any felts or wing nuts on any of my cymbals on my right.
They don't go flying.
They do not go flying, but they.
But they move.
They move, and I like them to move, and I want them to move.
Okay.
I always like, especially if I'm riding on it, just quarter notes on it. I love it to naturally go where it wants to go.
These three. That one is
because
this
one I have a wing nut and a felts on it because I don't really ride on it too much.
Oh, okay.
It's more so single hits, and I want this to respond a little quicker.
Oh, okay.
These, they can be as unruly as they need to be.
And move. And this is all Pearl hardware.
Absolutely, yeah, all Pearl.
So, and Pearl pedals.
Yep.
Some cowbells over to the side. So what's happening with that?
So these are exclusively for Pretty Fly. It's the only time I use it. It's for one song.
Okay.
And one of them's higher pitched, one of them's lower pitched. And it's just, that's the pattern I'm doing. And yeah, LP cowbells.
No electronics in this kit.
Correct,
right, of course. And you're sitting, I noticed, because the seat is taped off. So that's where you're going to sit.
Yeah.
But when I sit down at this kit, could you sit here for a second? I want people to see this because it's really unconventional, I would call it.
Sure.
You're pretty far back. You're pretty far from the rack tom and even the hi-hat. So how does this work? How did you come up with this setup?
I wish I could tell you how I came up with it. I don't know. I think just throughout the years, it must have evolved into this.
This is how you always set it up?
As far as I can remember. Yeah. I like sitting far back, and I don't know if this is recommended. They probably don't teach you this if you go to school for drumming, but I sit on the very edge of my seat, so you can probably see.
Yep.
I think you're supposed to sit like in the far back in the middle. So that's why the throne is so far back, because I'm sitting on the edge of it. And I don't know, to me, I feel like if I'm on the edge, like they say, if you're on the edge of your seat, you're ready to go. And so it's not comfortable how it is. If I'm sitting like this, I don't know, I wouldn't feel like it's game time, you know? But when I'm on the edge of it, I feel like it forces me to kind of lean forward a bit, sit on top of the drums, and just be ready to go. So I like sitting far back on the edge of my seat.
And it works.
And it works for me, at least. Yeah. And then over the years, I started angling my snare drum away from me more and more throughout the years. So it was never intentional. It just kind of evolved.
Match grip player, of course.
Yeah, that's how the jazz cats used to do it, Buddy Rich and everything, and that made sense. They hold it traditionally. But for me, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm doing a lot of rim shots with this, the heavier music we're playing. So you get those rim shots really well, and it just feels like butter when you lay into it.
Angle, the rim is like right there.
Exactly.
It's almost like the first thing you're gonna hit.
But, there's a lot of songs where I'm doing ghost notes and stuff, and I don't want to hit the rim, so I just avoid the rim, and it feels natural to me. So I'm certainly not doing a rim on every single snare hit, but yeah, on the majority, on 2 and 4, I'm doing the rim shots.
And then for heads, you've got coated Emperor, but then you have an Emperor with the black dot.
Yep.
And it looks like a pinstripe on the kick drum. So how did you come up with this head configuration?
My brilliant drum tech, Trevor, did.
Okay, he is brilliant, by the way.
Yes,
we love Trevor.
He's amazing, yeah. And I just asked him what he would want to do on this, because he knows a lot more than I know about this.
And he came up with this head combination, and it's working.
Yeah, I think that's historically what he was doing for this gig. And so I said, hey, what's worked here, and what's the team like? And he said, we've done this. And I said, beautiful.
And you're a Vic Firth guy. What are you playing for Vic?
Just 5Bs.
Okay, 5B wood tip.
Yep. When I was a kid, I started with 5As, and then at a certain point, I guess I got strong enough to go to 5Bs, and I haven't left it since. A lot of people will remark how high I play my hi-hats, and I've actually, funny enough, I've lowered them a little bit. For music like this, to me, I'm not playing that much of a finesse way of drumming. So I can kind of play like this, and it doesn't really affect me that they're that high, and it feels good because
there's a lot of open hat stuff.
Yeah,
okay.
Even for the close stuff. I mean, it's not like I'm just chomping away at the edge the whole time. I can get all the dynamics I need, and it's naturally it's where my shoulder kind of goes, and it feels good. So it just feels natural there. But yeah, I've brought them down a little bit just to try to get into the more closer to a normal realm of what people would consider somewhat standard. But
standard's overrated. You figured that out a long time ago. And what about warming up before you do the show? What's your routine?
So we have some practice. We have a practice kit in any of the dressing rooms we play in. We'll travel with it, and it's just a practice kick drum, practice snare pad, and a practice hi-hat. And so the band and I, for probably 15 to 20 minutes before each show, we'll run through a few songs.
Oh, nice.
And
so you're getting loose and you're warming up.
Yeah, getting loose, yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll do some stretches, not always, depends how I feel. I've always found that the warmer the room is, and even if it's humid, I play so much better because I feel loose, you know? So today we're in a theater, it's a little cooler, so I'll have to put in some more time to warm up. But
And do you guys always have your band warm up? Is that a ritual?
9 out of 10 times.
Okay.
Yeah, 9 out of 10.
Anything else you want to share on this beautiful rig?
I think that's
Pearl
about
drums,
it.
looking and sounding great. Peisty cymbals.
Yep.
You endorse all of these companies.
Absolutely.
Right,
Yep.
so they've done a great job keeping you going.
Yeah, great relationships and great to work with, and yeah, it's very mutual relationship where, yeah, and you need that when you're on the road, you know, because sometimes you're out in Bratislava and you know, I need this cymbal or this broke or this or that.
right.
So great relationships. I mean, I've been with Pearl for 10 years now.
Amazing.
Peisty's probably been close to that.
Wow.
Vic Firth's been about that, and Remo probably 5 or 6 years as of now. So
Awesome.
yeah, everything's great, and that's the setup. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, Brandon Pertzborn, I'm David Frangioni, the Modern Drummer rundown of this beautiful kit. And check out Brandon on the road with the Offspring. I can't wait to hear you play tonight again.
Thank you.
And congratulations on all of it and having such a beautiful kit. And we'll see you again soon. Thank you, Modern Drummer.